the main stars, so we've got to get you involved as well. Okay. Here with David Higgins, promoter of the Joseph Parker fight in a couple of weeks' time. Looking at the undercard, looking at the main event, it's spectacular. Well done on putting that together first and foremost.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I've been told by people who know a lot more about boxing than I do that it's one of the best cards assembled in New Zealand history.
Yeah, just looking at some of the names you've got on: Richie Hadlow, Dominic Reed, David Light, Lance Bryant. I mean, I could go on, but the list continues from start to finish. This is absolutely stacked. There's quite a lot of work involved. I mean, you must have put in hours to get this all together.
To be honest, I contract that job to other people, and they've done a great job. My job is to make the deals at the high level, the fighter deals, the TV deals, the sponsorship deals, take the financial risk, underwrite the show, and then I try delegate away the things I'm not an expert at, like matching the undercard. But, I've been told it's a great card, and that's good to see, because it could be the only major heavyweight promotion on this level in New Zealand within a 3-year period. If Joseph's offshore again, it could be the only fight like this in New Zealand in 4 years. So, yep.
Is that the plan? Because this is great for New Zealand. Will you have more fights in New Zealand with Joseph, or will this be it for a while, then head back overseas?
Joseph will always fight in New Zealand but I would say that all going well in December, he won't be back for another year or two. I mean, we're always going to want to fight here, and there's always a market. But, the epicentre of heavyweight boxing at the moment is in Europe, and so it's probably a case of running most of the fights up there, and then the odd one out in the States or here or elsewhere.
And for Joseph, obviously he's had a couple of hard losses in the UK, like you were just saying. How long do you think it will be back towards that road to recovery of getting a world contention shot again?
Look, I think all going well in December, he'll be back in the mix quickly, because he's been one side of the second biggest show in British history on pay-per-view, and then another sold-out O2 Arena show in London, and so he's a pay-per-view star, if you like, in the UK. And the British fans, they love Joseph Parker, and they respect the way he came through those fights, even though he didn't get the win. I think the fact he nearly got the win, got a bit of bad luck, officiating question marks, but still was humble in defeat, earned him a lot of fans. And so, I'm told by Eddie Hearn and people in the UK that he's popular and still a draw there. So winning in December, we could look at the winner of Chisora White, or we could look at various other options.
Do you find too, because you played a big part in the media over there as well, it seems like it's a different pressure, a different world over there. Do you like the more relaxed approach here in New Zealand, or do you like it in the UK as well? It's kind of like 10 levels above.
It's all the same, really. Like the media and press conferences are the same. There's just more people there. The first time we're there, it took some getting used to. It's like anything in life. When you're doing it first time up, you might be a bit more nervous, but second, third time you relax and get used to it. And so our team have now been in the cauldron twice in the UK. I mean, the Joshua fight was one of the biggest events in the world. And having come through the pressures of that, I'd say we're fairly relaxed about the UK market and almost see it as similar to fighting at home.
And what I was sort of alluding to is you definitely played the part. You were certainly a character over there, and it helped get the sort of the eyeballs of viewership on screen.
Well, part of the job of the promoter, as well as making the deal, is to get people talking about the fight, create interest in the fight, and put it in the media and on the map. And then you analyse how you're going to do that. And it's saying the right things at the right time, might be provocative things. Some things might upset people, but it's all part of the business. And so, it would be nice. I think if I was promoting Tyson Fury, I wouldn't have to say anything. I could just disappear and the fight would promote itself. But everyone's different. And in this particular case, Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker, for that example, are quite humble guys that don't say a lot. So Eddie and I were called upon to do a bit more of the banter, which, and you're right, it did work. And so the byproduct is that I've got a small little cult following of weirdos in the UK.
Hey, speaking of self-promotion, we saw Dave Buttabean. how amazing has the transformation been since 210 kilograms to 110 to now? He's a complete new person, and you've been part of that journey.
Well, he lost more weight than your body weight, and so you could be the weight he took off, but he certainly has turned his life around. I mean, at one stage he was not only overweight, but not working, relationship breakup, business failure, having bad thoughts, maybe going off track a bit. So his turnaround's been complete. It's not just the weight. He's got married, kids, career, health and fitness, inspiring other people. And for those who do know his background, it's remarkable and an inspiration to other people.
And for you, knowing him personally and obviously working on a business level, did you always see that potential there? You always knew that wherever he was, he could get out of that and come to what he is now.
I was friends with David at school. He's a smart guy, and there were certain things that happened in his life that put him off track a bit. But I knew he was always had the potential to go a long way. Leadership qualities, very strong in terms of able to dedicate to things. Work ethic. He's a workaholic. And a good guy with a good heart. So the underlying potential was always there, and it's just a matter of him making the right decisions. And for the last 2 or 3 years, he's consistently made good decisions, and that's why he's turned his life around.
Speaking of good decisions, this Manu Vatuvei is a tough decision. It's a challenging fight. Good to see him step up, but this probably will be one of Dave's hardest fights to date. Yeah,
Manu Vatuvei is a friend of mine as well, so I'm a bit torn. Cause they're both good guys. Manu is a veteran professional athlete, and he's taking this seriously, and both of them are extremely hungry, and so it's going to be a very entertaining, hard fought clash.
Yeah, look, I always like to sort of ask what's in the the pipeline for next year. Obviously, you just want to get past this year, but do you want to have a bit of a break after this? And then, is there anything planned for early 2019?
I think if we going to plan in December, we'd look to fight again at the end of March or April, perhaps, and just straight back into it. Fight regularly, and don't shy away from the big opportunity. We make no apologies for fighting Joshua then White. Because in boxing, every fight's risky. You could lose to Flores, you could lose to anyone. So if you're going to risk being punched in the head and losing, you at least want to be paid for it. And both those fights, Joshua and White, stacked up well in terms of there was reward for the risk. Had it been a different night, Joseph might have got the win. It's a bittersweet sport. But our style from the beginning has been to step up quickly and not shy away from the opportunities and not pad Joseph's record. That won't change. We'll be headlong back at trying to win that world title again as quick as possible.
And speaking of world titles, I've got to ask, if you had to bet, who would you bet on for the Tyson Wilder fight?
My heart says Fury, and I want Fury to win. My head says that with Fury having been out of the ring for a while, Wilder might be too sharp and Wilder might win, but I'm probably going to go up there and watch it.
Well, hey, look, thanks for putting on such a great card. We really look forward to December the 15th, and see you then.
Cheers.
Thank you.